you geeks! It's the 4th day of Christmas and time for my Christmas special. Yes, the days of Christmas come after Christmas. 12th night happens in January, so please mark your calendars to watch everyone's favorite cross-dressing romantic comedy then.
Inside every girl, there's a boy. That came out wrong, but you know what I mean.
Or what you will. In anticipation of an upcoming C.S. Lewis streak, let's talk about the hot-button issue of the season. Does Father Christmas belong in Narnia? The debacle. This debate stems from J.R.R. Tolkien's famous dislike of the Chronicles of Narnia. As he wrote in a letter to a friend, "It is sad that Narnia and all that part of CSL's work should remain outside the range of my sympathy, as much of my work was outside his."
We just got served.
Scholars agree that Tolkien's dislike stemmed from Narnia's silliness. A lamppost in a snowy wood, dancing fauns from Greece. Father Christmas and his sleigh are just the cherry on top of a very peculiar Sunday. Of course, I scarfed this Sunday down as a child when I could barely get past the description of Bilbo's door in The Hobbit.
Stop being so silly!
Now, I return to the question with more experience and an acquired distaste for blatant allegory. Truth must be experienced, not merely told. So, how does Father Christmas enhance or detract from the Narnia experience? Christmas is coming. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the White Witch kept Narnia in a perpetual winter and never Christmas.
No, we haven't had a Christmas in 100 years.
What? No presents for 100 years?
Always winter, never Christmas.
I suppose that's one way to ensure a white Christmas. Anywho, once Aslan returns to Narnia, but before the children can meet him, they meet Father Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It certainly is, Lucy.
Lewis's allegory is a little on the nose here, cramming the highlights of the Gospels and the liturgical calendar into a single children's book. The whole stone table affair is an obvious passion tide in Easter. Therefore, it must be prefaced by an obvious Christmas. That is, the celebration of Aslan's coming. "I've come at last," said Father Christmas. "She has kept me out for a long time, but I have got in at last. Aslan is on the move. The witch's magic is weakening." Later in the series, Lewis explains that the ancient kings and queens of Narnia were descended from Victorian-era Brits, thus establishing why Narnians celebrated Aslan's coming before Aslan actually came. This question goes ruefully unanswered in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, leaving Father Christmas to be a deus ex machina mid-story. Other stories which use Christmas to level up magical children's arsenal at least rely on some sort of prior relation to justify the sudden power upgrade.
Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you. Use it well.
Tolkien also may or may not have made use of Christmas to mark the beginning of his adventure. The Fellowship departed Rivendell on the 25th of December. His homage, if you can call it that, was much more subtle, as you'd have to dig through Appendix D to find it. Also, apparently, it was unintentional. Tolkien told Henry Resnick in an interview in 1966. As a matter of fact, December 25th occurred strictly by accident, and I let it in to show that this was not a Christian myth anyhow. It was a purely unimportant date, and I thought, well, there it is. Just an accident. Destroying perfectly good YouTube theories of Christmas past with the mild inconvenience of being wrong. Even if the date was an accident, Tolkien's lack of blatant, helpful divine intervention was not. The company departs with only one unwanted divine birthday present.
It is a gift to the foes of Mordor.
No, Boromir, it is not. Peter, Susan, and Lucy get gifts, though. Simple gifts. Lewis does keep a somewhat serious tone on Christmas. Father Christmas gives the children weapons.
These are tools, not toys. Bear them well and wisely.
Peter, as the once and future High King, gets a sword and shield, which he later uses to slay Maugrim, chief of the witches' secret police, giving a whole new twist on Peter and the Wolf.
Rise, Sir Peter Wolfsbane.
Just realized, Lewis gave his hero an honorific named after a deadly poison. Susan gets a horn, a bow, and arrows. Susan uses the horn to call Peter when the aforementioned wolf attacks.
Susan!
And it's again used to call the children back to Narnia in Prince Caspian. Tolkien also gave Boromir a legendary horn handed down through his family to call for aid. His was less effective. See, if he'd been friends with Lucy, he would have been able to walk that off. Surely she would have shared her Christmas present with him. This is a cordial made of the juice of the fire flowers that grow on the mountains of the sun. If you or any of your friends are hurt, a few drops of this will restore them. The girls' gifts spark, unknowingly I'm sure, inspiration for the strong female character with a bow archetype and the magic system for Tangled.
And from this small drop of sun grew a magic golden flower. It had the ability to heal the sick and injured.
They also add fire to the whole debate of whether girls should be in battle. That doesn't bother me too much since Lewis gave them something important to do while the battle was going on. Moving on. Amazing gifts. From a story perspective, these gifts seem a little unearned. All the children have done at this point is show up in Narnia, be told they are the chosen ones, and avoid getting eaten by wolves. This last one is more of an accomplishment in the movies, while in the books they find a hidey hole, drink a shot of whiskey, and fall asleep. Then Mrs. Beaver handed round in the dark a little flask out of which everyone drank something. It made one cough and sputter a little and stung the throat, but it also made you feel deliciously warm after you'd swallowed it, and everyone went straight to sleep. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. It's baffling to consider what one would have to do to be worthy of getting magic swords and stuff. Arthur Pendragon oopsed his way into earning Excalibur. Tolkien's fellowship, however, earns some of their steel, or at least inherits it. Most important of all, they share their tools.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
Some weapons, like Boromir's horn and Narsil, were the hero's inheritance. Otherwise, Gimli's axe and Legolas's bow were themselves nothing special, just the culmination of their people's craft. Gandalf earned Glamdring, the sword of the King of Gondolin, because he outsmarted a troll. The hobbits won their swords for surviving the Barrow Downs, save Frodo, who inherited Sting and his mithril. Were the gods of Middle-earth behind these acquisitions? Definitely. Were they obvious? No. The Fellowship in some small way earned their gifts. The children got their weapons handed to them on a silver platter. Lewis, I believe, would say this choice is intentional. Grace, that is the tools given to help fight evil, is something that cannot be earned for Lewis. As he wrote in his Book of Common Prayer, what seems to be you at the time, to be your own effort, must in fact be grace. I don't think Tolkien would completely disagree. The only fellowship to earn his own magic weapon through his own merit is basically angelic. Frodo is the one who saved his friends in the Barrow Down, and Tom Bombadil saved Frodo. And yet Merry, Pippin, and Sam all got the loot. While Tolkien doesn't dismiss the small efforts that the Fellowship made to acquire their gifts, Lewis simplified his story by cutting out the children's effort entirely. and just relied on the grace of Aslan's return. So, does Father Christmas belong in Narnia? Depends. Lewis thought so, and since he is the author, I generally defer to his genius. Would the story have been richer if the children acquired their tools through a modicum of their own effort? I think so, but I've been on Team Tolkien since 8th grade. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.